Do you feel this way? Last week I was at an event, and when I got done presenting, someone walked up to me and they said, "Hey, I'm struggling here." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And they were telling me that they have a full-time job, that this is their side hustle, that their business is new, and they had all kinds of doubts. All kinds of doubts. They didn't know if they were going to be able to make it. They didn't know how to juggle the work, the family, the business, the side hustle, all of that other stuff. They were just struggling and they were ready to throw in the towel. So let me tell you what I told them, and I think it might help for you. Welcome to Fix My Business, the show that helps you do just that. I'm your host, Scott Todd. I have built multiple seven-figure businesses after leaving corporate America, and this channel is dedicated to helping you do the exact same thing. Now, here's the situation. 12 years ago, I was in that same boat. I had a corporate job. I was a VP at a big company, Fortune 300 company, and I could see the writing on the wall that I needed to get out. Like, my job was going to come to an end. I just saw the writing on the wall. I got lucky. Okay. And I went out and I started a side hustle. I started doing real estate investing. Now, what happened though, is during that process, you're going to experience all kinds of emotions, doubt, self-doubt. The resistance of the world is going to come at you. It really is. There's going to be so many days that you're ready to throw in the towel. This is what I told them. You got to keep going. Okay. You're going to have all kinds of self-doubt. Can I do this? Am I doing it right? Am I going to mess up? Do I have the money? You got to keep going. Now, the whole thing here is that you got to protect your money. You can't run out of capital. You can't run out of runway, and it can't start costing you money to where you're like, I got no money left. You got to budget for that. But it is possible to bootstrap a business. It is possible to do this, but it's going to take work. Okay. The more you're bootstrapping this business, the harder that it is. Lots of companies struggle for lots of different reasons. The number one reason of failure in business is capital, underfunding, not enough capital to sustain those difficult times. Because as much as we want it to be, business is not always going to be the same. There's going to be those ups and downs. There's going to be those great weeks or great days or great months. And then it's going to be like crickets. Okay. And, right now I'd say it's super hard because there's a lot of businesses that are struggling right now. Okay. Like, it's a tough time right now, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. You got to keep going. You got to believe. Now, there's a book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And I got to tell you, this book is, I think, just a must read for any business owner. It's written for creatives. It really is. It's written for authors, and it's written for people who have to sit down and show up all the time. But I think that it should be required reading of every business owner. It really should, especially new business owners, because there's so many days where you just want to have to deal with this inner critic troll, and you don't know what to do with it. You just want to throw in the towel. It's just too hard. You got to keep going. You got to keep showing up. You got to tell that inner critic voice to shut up. Hey, thank you. I hear you. Write it down. Do whatever's in whatever story your brain is telling you, write it down. Thank you. And you got to keep moving on. You got to keep moving on. The other thing, and this is what I told them, the other thing you got to make sure that you're doing is you got to make sure that what you're not doing is trying to do everything. You have to be selective. Pick 1 to 3 big things. Okay. What's the goal? Pick the goal. Pick the goal and keep walking toward that goal. Now, there's a funny thing about goals. If you've been around any type of goal planning at any given time, you've heard about SMART goals, and you should always have something that has time to it, right? Number 1, the R is realistic. It needs to be realistic, but it also has to have a time constraint to it. So people love to do this. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hit this monthly income number or this profit number by this day. I'm going to replace my income by this day. And then what happens is as you get closer to that day, you start to miss out. You start to realize, like, it's not possible for me to hit that number on that day. And the inner critic troll loves that. The inner critic troll loves that because basically it introduces the self-doubt at the right time. And the one thing I would say to that mindset is, hey, time out. The date that you picked is an arbitrary date. It's a date that you picked. You gave it your best to achieve it by that date. And even if you don't achieve it by that date, I don't want you to compare what you're lacking or how far you have to go. I want you to look at the movement that you have. Look at what we've done in this period of time. And that's a different mindset that's going to propel you forward. Okay. Lots of high achievers struggle with this. High achievers, man, they want to hit these dates. They want to hit these targets. They want to do this. And look, if you're starting a business, you're a high achiever. That's the reality. So this is for you. And what I want you to do is I want you to give yourself some grace. I want you to understand that it's okay if you miss this target date. Move it to the future. So what? It doesn't take you, I don't know, a year and a half or 12 months. It's going to take you 3 years. Who cares? And you're like, wait a minute, man. I want this thing now. I want this satisfaction now. I want to hit this target now. I hear you. Look, I'm a high achiever. I live this with you every day. Every high achiever does. But what you have to do is you got to keep moving on. Keep grinding. I told this story a few weeks ago. I'm going to tell it again now because I'm telling you exactly what I told this person who walked up to me. And I want you to hear this again. And if you're a regular listener, you're like, I've heard this. I thank you for being a regular listener, but it's a great reminder. And here it is. You got to keep moving your feet. You got to keep moving your feet. Remember, you can't stop. And where this comes from is years ago when I was starting my business, when I had that corporate job, my son had just joined the lacrosse team. And it was the first time he had ever played lacrosse. I really didn't know anything about lacrosse. Lacrosse wasn't really that big in Florida. That's where I grew up in. Like, what is this game? I don't know anything about it. My son joins lacrosse. We're out there for a game. And as his team was running toward the goal, they got to a point where where the person who had the ball needed to stop, or they didn't need to stop. They actually stopped. And they were trying to figure out, like, okay, what do I do? Do I pass? Do I run? But they froze. And all of a sudden, this dad from the sidelines with this deep, deep voice yells, "Move your feet." And the player who had the ball began to run. You see, when he froze, the defense didn't freeze. The defense was still moving. The defense was still coming to him. But he was on the offense. He needed to keep moving. Okay? When you stop, when you freeze up, when you lock up, when you get paralyzed, it's the worst thing for your business. It's the worst thing for you. You got to keep moving your feet. So if you're struggling, move your feet. Do something. If you don't know what to do, find something to do, something that you can mark off as a win. And here's the last thing that I said, and I hope that you hear this, and I hope that you replay this episode so many times. And here it is. This is what I did. This is the thing that got me through. Every day, at the end of the day, I opened up a notebook and I wrote wins on the piece of paper. I wrote the day of the day. Okay, whatever the day was, I wrote wins, and I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I sat there until I could think of every single win. Now, I have to tell you something. Some of these wins, if I look back at them today, they're comical. Like I did this a few years ago. I looked at it, I'm like, look at this. My win for the day was that one person signed up for my email list that day. That was the win. Today, that would be a terrible day. And it's not about that number. It's not about some big number. But looking back at the fact that I was happy that there was one win, that one person, is really a way of reflecting just how far you've actually come. So write down your wins, grab 5 of them, and look, don't give up on like trying to find 5 of them. Whatever comes to your mind. I don't care how small they are. I don't care how silly they are. And even if that win is I woke up today and I did something for my business, that, my friend, is a win. And if you have a business question, I'm here to help you. I want to help you. You can head over to scotttodd.net/ask. Put your question in there and I will answer it on this show. And I will see you in our next episode.